Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, All Sports West New York. Guess where we are? DiPaolo's Restaurant in Blaisdell with Dennis DiPaolo himself. And a little later on, we're going to have Jim Kelly, Hall of Fame quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. But Dennis, we want to start with you tonight. First of all, I'm sure you had a great Easter. I know the restaurant is hopping. But all this year, it's a celebration of 50 years of Ilio DiPaolo's right here on South Park in Blaisdell. And I know it's already been a tremendous year so far.
Oh, it's been fantastic. I said, you know, we started out with a massive Thanksgiving because, as you know, you don't last 50 years in anything without the blessing of the Lord. So we started that out, and then we followed it up with a vendor and employee party of all of our past employees. We must have had about 450 people here, and it was just great to know because, contrary to popular belief, Dennis and Michael DiPaolo and my father, we did not cook and serve every dinner. So, I mean, although you didn't.
Well, Michael and your dad, maybe. I know you didn't cook every meal.
No, come on.
Well, you're in the kitchen, but
sauce, you know. So, and then we followed up with just this past week with a vendor partner night, because all the people that supply us, the behind-the-scenes people, I mean, you know, you serve good food, but you got to have the good product to serve. Not only that, from our carpet cleaning guy to maintenance guys to everybody that really makes Ilios go. We had a wonderful night here, and it was just fantastic, the partners that we have. And the rest of the summer, we have planned with the rest of our community, because the community is actually, as my son said, we are a community restaurant, and that's who we are.
Absolutely.
So we're going to celebrate with them at the Italian Festival and with the Bison's Italian Night. And then lastly, we're going to celebrate with our family and our friends again in October, as you know, with the Celebrity Chef Dinner in October, because the dedication of your family and your friends, who, Dennis, we hate to call you because you know we can't make it, but when you're in this industry, it's 24/7. I mean, you're here 7 days a week, 24/7, and you know, and you know, when we get together for lunch, it's sometimes I get to sit down with you, and other times I don't.
Sometimes you pass by and wave, and we say we just had lunch with Dennis. And you know, coming up in May 18th, it's the scholarship fund, so that's part of the celebration. Coming up in June, I think it's June 8th is the golf tournament.
Absolutely.
And so every month there's something, and a lot of these are annual events, but you're giving them a bit of the anniversary flair. Sure. And I've been blessed to be around your restaurant, you know, with your dad and yourself and your brother Mike and your beautiful mother, and you know, since I think it was 85, 86 perhaps, Rick Azar brought me in here one night for a meal, and of course I knew your dad. I knew your dad, like all guys, you know, my age, watching your dad on television, you know, at the War Memorial Auditorium, and Chuck Healy, you know, doing the play-by-play, and to come in and meet him was a thrill, and then of course the stories over the years, you know, at the Super Bowl in Minnesota, your dad doing push-ups.
Yeah, when you forced him to come on, Ilio, do your age. My father doing. My mother was yelling at you, Bob. That's enough push-ups.
I didn't force him. Could I force Ilio to do anything? No, but he did say, Bob, sit on my shoulders.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Unbelievable. And but this restaurant has become such a part of the community. And I know when I come in here, every single day I come in here, one of the banquet halls is either you got a breakfast or a lunch. The dining room's always busy. I mean, you have been blessed. This restaurant has been embraced by the community.
We've been, I always thank the Lord for that, because it really, little Blaisdell here in Western New York. I mean, my father, of all the places that we lived in throughout the world, from Australia to California, down south in Minnesota, Canada, but he chose Western New York right here, and I mean, we're so blessed, as you know, that you know, here is we call this our home. So you're right, it is a community restaurant, and the people, you know, we have an obligation to them, as we feel, as we all do, to do a good job for them and make it right, just like I'm coming in your house. So it's a great feeling, a lot of pressure, but our family enjoys it. Our staff is very proud of it, so, and that's the key.
This restaurant is associated in a great way with the Buffalo Bills, the Buffalo Sabres to a certain extent, although back in the day, I know Mike Foligno and your dad had a great relationship, and it's certainly known for the high school wrestling community because of the scholarship. But your association with the Bills, and Jim Kelly will be on with us in just a few minutes. I mean, this goes back to the 60s when your dad first started to welcome everybody in, when he just had the pizzeria.
Yeah, actually, we just at the vendor partner night, the Bills alumni was here, Book Richardson and Edward Kowski and L.B. Miller, and we were talking about how they used to walk from down the street, come after practice and come down and have pizza with my dad and a case of Budweiser beer on the table, and we used to deliver pizzas through the windows to the Regency up there until Lou Saban said, "That's it, Ilio, enough. What's wrong, Kubadi? My players are getting too fat." He goes, "Oh, gee, no more Ilio's food." He goes, "Oh, geez, you know, no, that's, you know." But yeah, we go back with the Bills 50 years, and you know, it's a great time, because you know, back in those days in the 60s, Pepsi, the Pastor brothers who owned the Sabres. You know, they were it was actually the Pepsi bottle cap. We had the pictures of the players. And then the Bills, and it was wrestling and boxing. So my father shared the limelight with them. God, I remember all those father-son communion breakfasts every Sunday.
Yeah.
We were going to those sports nights every night. You know, my father would go, come on along. When you're like 10 years old, 8 years old, the last thing I'd be doing is getting dressed up and going to a sports night. But those are the times that you really got to enjoy, and we really had a great relationship. So 50 years been a wonderful ride.
And we address this at the scholarship dinner because young men that are 17, 18 years old today, they didn't know your dad.
Right.
And so it's a matter of reintroducing your father to this generation. And of course, the restaurant has some great photos. You have a video running 24/7 of some of his great matches. But, you know, the legacy is truly unbelievable. And I remember, Dennis, very vividly, Rick Azar, a mentor of mine. When your dad passed unexpectedly and too soon, Rick said to you, your father will become a legend. He'll become immortal because he was still in his prime. He was so well known in the community, and you and your family has done such a great job carrying on his name. Yeah,
it was. In fact, exactly that statement. Rick Azar was at the house, and we were all devastated. I mean, that 5 years earlier, we lost my sister and my niece, and then to get hit again with that, it was just like, oh my gosh, Lord, what are we doing here? And Rick Azar said, the Lord made it. It had to end this way. I said, it had to end this way. He goes, you know, you'll see, because your father was greater than just passing off in the sunset. So, and I'll never forget that as long as he was. And now, you know, you're on our scholarship committee as a spokesman of our family and a scholarship fund, but you know, we're raising close to $1 million coming up in 20 years that we've given back to the community, and all the kids and the people that we've helped, the less fortunate children, the smiles we bring on a lot of kids' faces, Bob. As you know, it's really true a blessing. And I always say, you know, Rick was right on target. He called it.
And when we started, Dennis and I both had dark hair and dark mustaches, which we no longer have.
And don't dig up the file pictures. I don't want to see that on your show.
Dennis, we're going to have your good buddy Jim Kelly on in just a second, but I want to again congratulate DiPaolo's Restaurant on 50 tremendous years, going strong, and I know with your son Ilio and the family, I'm sure we're going to be here for another 50. I hope I'm around to see some of it.
Maybe I hope we're both together. We drink some wine with that. So,
well,
thank you.
Like somebody once said, we're middle-aged if we're going to live to be 120. But you know, it's been always great to be here, and DiPaolo is a great sponsor of All Sports Western New York. We'll be back with Jim Kelly right after this.